Jury is present and seated. Everybody else may be seated at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, welcome back. We're going to pick up where we left off. The plan is to break for lunch today approximately between 12 and 12:15. So that puts you in the courtroom again for a little over an hour before our lunch break. State, ready to call your next witness?
Yes, sir. Lieutenant Robert Carr.
Lieutenant Carr. Lieutenant Carr, good morning. Yes, thank you. Do you swear or affirm any testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Lieutenant. If you'll follow the bailiff around to the ramp that leads up to the witness chair, please watch your step. When you get to the chair, go ahead and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. That microphone is adjustable.
Thanks, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you please state and spell your last name for the record?
Robert Scott Carr, C-A-R-R.
Thank you. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office,
How long have you worked for the Sheriff's Office?
approximately 17 years.
And in what position with the Sheriff's Office were you in August of 2015?
I was a sergeant assigned to a patrol squad.
Okay. Is a sergeant a supervisory position?
Yes, it is.
I want to turn your attention specifically to August the 20th of 2015. Do you recall responding to a call that evening on Fensbury Drive?
I do.
Approximately what time did you arrive?
Approximately 21-40 hours.
About 9:40 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
When you arrived on scene that night, were other law enforcement officers from the Sheriff's Office already present?
There was.
Okay. Do you recall if you were the first supervisor to respond to the scene?
I don't recall.
What was going on at the time that you arrived at 9:40 p.m.?
At the time, I know the deputies have already arrived, and we did see a female laying in the driveway. And from that point on, that's when other deputies were going around checking other residents to make sure that there were no other injuries, pretty much conducting welfare checks and neighborhood surveys.
At the time that you arrived on scene, had any entry yet been made into the residence at 14110?
No, ma'am.
So tell us what you did when you first arrived on scene.
When I first arrived on scene, I did approach the female laying in the driveway. I did observe that she did have some sort of trauma based on the blood near her head. And the call initially came out as shots were fired, so I was looking for shell casings that could be in the area, which there were two located that I did locate near her feet, which were marked after that. And while I was doing that, that is when other deputies were going door to door, checking on the welfare of all the other neighbors. And that's when I learned that there was a door open, lights were on, and nobody was coming to the door. That was directly to the right side of where the body was laying at.
I'm going to show you on your monitor there some photographs that have already been introduced into evidence. Show you State's Exhibit 1C. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recall about this that you recognize?
That, if you see the two cones behind or closest to the residence where her feet are at, those are the two casings that I located.
Okay.
Directly to the right of it is the house that where the deputies were conducting the neighborhood survey, where the door was open, the lights were on, and there was no answer at that residence.
So if I could zoom in a little bit here. In this photograph, we see 3 orange markers. I believe you indicated that the 2 orange markers that are south of the female body's feet in the driveway, these are the 2 orange markers that you placed. Is that correct?
Yes,
To indicate, and what were those markers indicating?
spent shell casings.
Okay. Do you recall personally observing those shell casings?
Yes, I do.
Did you touch them in any way?
No, ma'am.
Move them or collect them?
No, I did not.
Okay. And I believe you were just telling us that this residence that we see on the right edge of the photograph is the residence at 14110 that you went to where the door was slightly open. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what happens when you approach that residence and the door is slightly open? What do you do?
I did give permission for the deputies that were there knocking and announcing their presence to go ahead and enter the residence. just to conduct a welfare check to see if there anybody inside that may be injured.
Okay, and when you say you got permission, is this from calling other supervisors?
No, I made the decision
Okay.
at that time.
At that time, you were one of the supervisors on scene?
Yes.
Prior to entering the residence, did you all make attempts to call out to see if anyone was inside?
Yes, several times.
Okay, and did you receive any response?
No, ma'am.
So tell us why you make the decision to go into that residence.
Based on the initial call coming out of shots being fired, and there's a female laying in the driveway next door that's deceased, and the door is open, lights are on, not getting an answer. You know, the safety of human life is our priority, so we want to make sure that everybody's okay.
So what happens when you go inside the residence? What do you observe of the residence?
I didn't go in initially. Other deputies did go inside,
Okay?
and as they were inside, they told me,
No, let me ask you this. You said other deputies go inside. What is the time period between other deputies go inside and you actually entering?
a minute or two.
Okay. So tell us what happens when you enter the residence about a minute or two later.
I initially went in based on the information given to me that there was a door that we thought to believe went into a bedroom that was locked, and they couldn't gain access, so I went in to assist.
What do you observe inside the home prior to reaching that door? Tell us what you see in the home.
When I went in to the left, kitchen table, there's a purse, set of keys laying on the table. As I kept walking toward the back of the residence, in the living room, the TV was on. It appeared that it could have been a movie that was on pause. There was a bag of, I don't know what type of potato chips in the recliner, as if somebody was sitting there watching a movie.
Were the
And-
lights on inside the home?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear anyone inside the home?
I did not.
See anyone inside the home?
Not at that time.
Okay, and I guess I should say, did you see any alive people inside that home?
No.
So tell us what happens when you go inside regarding this locked or closed door.
Not knowing who's inside, if anybody, did find a screwdriver to try to defeat the locking mechanism to unlock the door to get inside.
Prior to going inside that door, do you go inside the door immediately?
No.
Tell us what's going on prior to entering that door.
Customary, if you don't know what's on the other side of a door, you want to make sure you maintain coverage if there is somebody inside that, you know, is not a friendly. So we're maintaining coverage until we decide to actually open that door that's locked. And until we decided to do it, we just held our position.
Okay, so when you say maintaining coverage, what do you mean? Where are deputies going to sort of protect everyone, residents, law enforcement, that sort of thing?
The ones that are inside, there's a small hallway actually that was leading up to the door of the locked bedroom. There was a deputy in one of the bedrooms that was open, and at one point I did go in that room as well, backing up prior to going into that room. And on the other side of the wall where the recliner was in the living room, just to the right of the door. We're not going to stand right in front of the door.
Okay. About how long are you all outside this room before you actually make entry?
20, 30 minutes.
Okay, and what are you doing during those 20 to 30 minutes other than maintaining coverage as you've described?
Maintaining coverage, I was passing on the information to the higher chain of command that was there of what I saw, what I smelled. I did detect an odor of a decomposing body,
Okay.
not till I got right up close to the door, but I did smell a foul odor, and that's what was sparking my curiosity.
Prior to smelling that, and in these 20 to 30 minutes, are you also giving verbal commands to anyone who may be in that room?
Yes,
To come out?
Yes, ma'am.
That sort of thing?
yes.
Okay. And did you ever get any response?
No, I did not.
Okay. Tell us, what background or experience do you have that led you to believe that you smelled what was a decaying or decomposing body?
What experience do I have?
Well, or your background at the sheriff's office?
17 years, and a lot of that time working on patrol as a supervisor. There's a lot of times we have gone to calls for service where there have been bodies that have been deceased for quite a few days, and once you smell that one time, you don't forget it.
And you said you were able to smell this when you were right outside the door?
Yes, I didn't smell it right when I went in the house.
Right, but not until you got close to that door?
Correct.
So after about 20 to 30 minutes, a decision is made to enter the room, is that correct?
Yes,
And I believe you said earlier you used some sort of a screwdriver to enter the room, is that correct?
correct.
Okay. Tell us what happens when you enter that room.
As I was able to get the door open in from left to right, I immediately on the floor saw a comforter that was covering up, not knowing exactly what it was at the time. A few seconds later, I could see a gap at the bottom of the comforter near the door, and it looked like a human toe that was sticking out from underneath there.
What did you do at that point?
Grabbed a piece of that comforter and slowly pulled it back down toward his waist. And that's when I saw that there was a deceased gentleman laying on his back.
Okay. Other than pulling the comforter back to confirm the appearance of a deceased body, did you move anything else in any way?
No, ma'am.
Move the body in any way?
No, ma'am.
Did you flip it over, anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Was it clear when you pulled that comforter back that the gentleman was deceased?
It was clear.
Could you see injuries?
I saw a little bit of blood near his mouth, but I couldn't see any specific trauma.
No other clear bullet hole or anything like that that you could see?
No, ma'am.
And tell us what it was about him that indicated to you that he was clearly deceased.
His color.
At that point, when you make this observation, what do you then do?
Back out of the room. As Deputy Rizzo, I believe, standing outside of the door, I told him to maintain where he was at, not touching anything, and went outside and revealed my findings.
At that point, by the time you went outside, were other detectives or law enforcement on scene?
Yes.
So was the information then passed along to other detectives who may have been at that point assigned to handle what were now apparently homicides?
Yes.
Lieutenant, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit 15A through F for identification. If you could take a look at those photographs and let me know if you generally recognize the things in the photographs.
Yes, I do.
Okay, are these photographs a fair and accurate depiction of your observations of that door and room that you described observing on August 20th of 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, without objection, I'd ask to move into evidence State's Exhibit 15A through F.
Any objection?
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
And ask for permission to publish.
You may publish.
Showing you State's Exhibit 15A. What is this?
It's the hallway leading into the bedroom that was initially locked, where the gentleman was found laying underneath the comforter.
Okay, the door that we see here on the right-hand side in the photograph, is this the door that you ultimately breached?
Yes, ma'am.
The door that was originally closed when you went into the room?
Yes.
This white comforter-style blanket that we see in the photograph, where was that when you first went into that room?
That was completely inside, covering the entire body except his toe.
Going back to State's Exhibit 15A, do you see the toe in this photograph?
Not clearly.
Okay. Do you recall can you see it at all from where you're angled there?
I have an idea what it is, but it's not clear on the
Okay.
screen, ma'am.
That's fine. State's Exhibit 15C.
That does clarify the last picture.
All right, tell us what we see in this picture.
The gentleman that was discovered underneath the comforter.
The position of his body that you see in this photograph, is that generally what you observed, the position that he was laying in when you uncovered him?
Yes.
And State's Exhibit 15F. Turn it. Okay. Is this also the same condition that you saw of the deceased male when you entered that room?
Yes, ma'am.
After pulling the comforter off of him?
Correct.
The blanket or whatever sheet it is that appears to be laying underneath him, was that exactly as you observed it on that day?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see in this photograph some of the things you indicated to us about how you could tell that he was deceased?
Lividity,
And what do you mean by that?
the color, discoloration of his body,
Okay? And what coloring are you talking about?
purple, dark red,
Is that the purple and dark red that you see sort of on his arms and stomach in this picture?
arms and stomach, yes.
You indicated that after you saw that, you left a deputy standing there to sort of maintain that scene in the body that had just been discovered, but not to disturb anything, and then you backed out, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you leave the residence altogether at that point?
Yes.
Prior to leaving the residence, and perhaps even prior to discovering that body, did you have an opportunity to make other observations of other rooms in the home?
There were other rooms,
Okay? Do you recall entering into those bedrooms?
one of them.
And what room was that?
It was the room at the end of the hallway that was leading up to the room that was locked.
Okay, and what did you observe in that room, if anything?
The door was open and the window was open as well.
Okay. Do you recall what type of window this was? A traditional up-down, or
I
what?
want to say it was a swinging window that opened in from out to outwards.
Okay, from the inside and it opened out, is that correct?
I believe so.
And it was open, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
During the time that you were inside the home, do you recall observing any blood inside the residence?
No,
Do you recall observing any weapons?
no,
Anything that would indicate signs of a struggle or fight taking place inside the home?
no.
Can I have just a moment, Judge?
Absolutely.
Nothing further, Judge, I'll pass it on.
All right, cross-examination.
Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
When you first arrived on the scene and approached the female laying in the driveway, did you notice that another orange marker had already been placed in that general vicinity?
I don't want to say it was orange. I know that it was marked.
And did you observe what it was attempting to mark?
Yes,
And was that a spent shell casing?
yes,
Okay. And then the two casings you saw, you also placed markers. Were those orange cone markers also?
yes, ma'am.
And just taking the two markers separately, approximately how far away were those shell casings from the feet of Miss Deeds, of the female?
A couple feet, ma'am. I can't say exactly.
A few feet?
Yes, ma'am.
Couple?
Yes, ma'am.
2 or 3 feet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You indicated that you went inside, and in one of the rooms that where the door was open, you also noticed that the window was open. That window didn't have any type of screen that was in any way keeping, for instance, fresh air from coming into the room or anything like that, correct?
I don't recall, ma'am.
Okay.
I'd have to see a picture.
That room, were you able to ascertain whether or not that appeared to be a master bedroom of a home in any way whatsoever?
No.
Were you able to ascertain if it looked like it was a room that belonged to perhaps a young adult or a child?
I couldn't determine.
You can determine that. And did you ask that any photographs of that window and that room be taken at all yourself?
No, ma'am.
Now, you indicated as you were exiting that you noticed that there was a purse on the table as well as a set of keys. Is that correct?
As I was entering,
Oh, as you were entering?
yes, ma'am.
Now, the door that was open at the front of this particular house, before anyone entered, did you ever see how far that door was open at all?
I did not.
And I'm going to show you what I've had marked as defense exhibits 1B through H. Let me show you what I've had marked for identification purposes as Exhibit 1B through H, and ask if you could peruse those photographs for a minute. As to exhibit, for identification purposes, 1B, does that photograph fairly and accurately depict your observations as you were walking through initially trying to clear in terms of the chair that you previously testified about?
Yes, ma'am, from the other direction, because that'd be from the TV taking it towards the residence.
But it is a fair and accurate depiction?
Yes, it is.
Judge, at this time, I'd like to introduce Exhibit 1B,
No objection.
Could be admitted.
and if I might just publish it for a moment, Judge.
You may.
Now, on that chair in particularly that we're looking at, there appears to be not only a bag of some types of chips, but there are other items that are there also. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as best as you recall, those items would have been in that same exact position as you were walking through to clear the house initially. Is that correct?
Yes.
In showing you what I've marked for identification purposes as Exhibit 1C, is that a photograph that is an accurate and fair depiction of the dining room table that you looked at, or what appears to be a dining room table, and where you saw what you testified to as a purse?
From what I recall, ma'am.
Judge, I have no objection to any of these photographs.
All right, any of them you want to move in will be admitted, but
I
let's
judge-
just put it on the record what they are.
I'll move in then, Judge, now at this time, Exhibit 1C, Exhibit 1D, 1E, 1F, 1G, and 1H.
They will be admitted.
Thank you. Again, just for a few moments, I'm pointing to what would appear to be some type of purse. Is that the purse that you recall observing, or at least in the general vicinity of what you think was where you saw a purse?
In the general vicinity, ma'am.
Let me go back to 1C for a moment. You yourself, if you could, just try to identify for us where you believe that you saw the keys that you previously testified to as you were walking through.
From what I recall, I believe they're on the table.
On this particular table?
I want to say they were. I knew that there was a set of keys. I can't specifically say exactly where they were in that area, but there was a set of keys near the purse.
And near the purse?
Yes.
Could you tell what type of keys they were? And by that I mean, did it appear to be house keys, car keys, or you really just...
Car keys and home keys.
What the other items that appear to be on this table, do you recall even seeing those items now that you see this photograph? Does that in some way refresh your recollection?
The gray plastic bag, I do remember that.
Did you at any point in time look inside that bag at all?
No.
But was the bag in close proximity to the purse as the photograph depicts?
Yes.
Did you in any way whatsoever manipulate and/or touch the purse or the bag in any way whatsoever, just to see if it could be used for any quick evidentiary purposes?
I did not.
And you indicated that as you entered the residence, the door was open. However, that would have been perhaps from some of the deputies also having in some way touched the door.
That is a possibility, ma'am, when they knocked.
But the house had all of its lights on, and you said it was a very well-lit house.
It was very well lit. Not all the lights were on.
You recalled in what areas the lights were on?
The open area where the door would go into from the front door, the living room, the hallway,
And what about the kitchen area where that
kitchen area, yes.
and the dining room area?
Yes, ma'am.
Where the purse was
Yes.
and the bag? Thank you very much. I have no other questions, Judge.
Redirect.
No redirection.
May this witness be excused by the state
Yes, sir.
and by the defense.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You may step down. You may be excused as a witness in this time, defense. I'll ask the state to call your next witness.
Nicole Shelby Garman.
Shelby Garman. Ms. Garman, good morning and welcome. If you'll come forward to be sworn, wherever you're comfortable, if you'll face me, and please raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm any testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. If you'll follow the bailiff around to the ramp that leads up to the witness chair, please watch your step. When you get to the chair, go ahead and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. That microphone is adjustable.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Garman. If you could please tell the jury your name and spell your name for the court reporter.
Shelby Garman, Shelby Garman.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm self-employed.
And what do you do?
I own and operate a fingerprint and background check company.
How long have you been doing that?
Approximately 8 years.
Prior to doing that, or I guess while you were doing that at the same time, did you ever work for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
And how long ago was that?
About a year.
And how long did you work at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office while you were working there?
5 years.
And what were you doing with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office?
I was a crime scene investigator.
And if you could, please tell the jury a little bit about what a crime scene investigator does.
Sure. So I respond to various crime scenes to document, photograph, collect evidence to include DNA, fingerprints.
And do you work in concert with detectives?
Yes.
And do you have any special background training or anything that you do in order to become a crime scene investigator?
I have an associate's degree from St. Pete College in crime scene technology, as well as a 2-year certificate.
Prior to working at the sheriff's office, did you work anywhere else as a crime scene investigator?
Yes, I did.
Where did you work prior to that?
Tampa Police Department for 7 years.
So a total of 12 years with law enforcement as a crime scene investigator?
Yes,
And during part of that time, I guess you continue to maintain this business that you have right now?
correct.
All right, now, back on August of 2015, were you working as a crime scene investigator at that time?
Yes.
And as a crime scene investigator, are you often called out in the middle of the night or at any time of the day or night to respond to scenes?
Yes, we're technically always on call. However, there's personnel that will be at the office, and then if there's something major, we'll be responding.
Now, specifically on August 20th of 2015, were you called out to a crime scene on Fensbury Drive?
Yes.
All right, do you recall about or approximately what time you were called out?
It was around 1:30, 1:40 in the morning.
And about what time do you arrive after you got called out?
Around 2:30.
And when you got there, what was going on at the scene?
There was a lot of detectives, crime scene tape. It was in a neighborhood, so there was people processing things on the exterior of the residence.
Okay, so prior to you arriving there were other crime scene investigators already there?
Yes.
Do you recall the names or who those were?
I believe it was Robert Durr, Brennan Douglas, and supervisors.
Okay. Now, were you tasked with anything when you arrived?
Yes, I was tasked with photographing and collecting evidence.
In any particular location?
I was mainly tasked with the interior of the residence.
Did you go straight in and start doing that?
No.
Okay, why was that?
We waited, I believe, for a search warrant to be conducted. We were just waiting for the procedures of that.
And while you were waiting for the search warrant, was the house secure?
Yes.
Okay. And detectives and officers were around the house making sure no one entered, no one did anything with anything inside the house?
Correct.
Do you recall approximately how long you waited there before the search warrant came in?
I knew it was a little while, but maybe an hour, maybe, I'm not sure.
And when you come, do you bring with you like equipment or things like that that you need to use in order to collect and process evidence?
Yeah, so we were furnished with a crime scene truck. Each crime scene investigator has their own fully furnished crime scene truck that has pretty much anything to respond to major cases, as well as any other kind of crime scene.
How many scenes by August of 2015 would you say you processed in your career?
Thousands.
When you were outside and when you were waiting to go into the interior, was there a body out there?
Yes.
Okay, describe for the jury, if you can, what you saw when you arrived on, as far as the outside goes.
So the responding residence was, and next door, the neighboring residence, there was a deceased in the driveway.
And she was still there when you arrived?
Yes.
Now, what did you do when you first entered the residence?
So the first thing we do is we do a walkthrough, just to kind of understand what the scene is going to be like and what we're getting ourselves into, in a sense. And the first thing I do is take photographs.
Right. And again, was there a detective with you while you're doing all this?
Yes.
And do you recall the detective in this particular case?
I believe Greg Thomas was there, but there was multiple detectives, yes.
Do you know approximately how many photos you took of the interior?
The interior, total photographs I took is 407. Of the interior of the residence was the majority of that.
Okay. All right, I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibits 7A through O, and then ask you if you can take a quick look through that and see if you recognize those photos.
Yes,
Do you recognize them?
yes,
Are those in fact the photos you took that day?
yes,
And do those photos fairly and accurately depict what you saw when you went into the house on that day?
yes.
Judge, moved to have State's Exhibit 7A through A through O admitted into evidence.
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
Move to publish.
You may publish.
Now, right here, what would you describe this area as?
That is the interior of the living room of the residence.
Okay, and when you walk into the residence, where is this particular room located?
So when you walked in, there was a dining area to the left, hallways with the bedrooms to the right. You'd have to pass through the kitchen to get to the living room.
And in this picture, you see that there's a television on. Was that on when you got there?
Yes,
Right, and it looks like it's paused on something. Was that the way it was as well?
yes,
Okay. And the chair and all the things on the floor, you didn't touch or move any of that? That's
No.
just how it was when you got there?
correct.
Now, these look like bones. Were there animals present in the home?
I don't remember, I think maybe in the backyard, or they had already had animal control by the time that we had gotten there. I don't remember animals, no.
Right, and then stage 7B. What are we looking at here?
So that is the other side of the living room, so I would have been standing on the other side of that chair to take that last photograph, so this is the other side of it.
So basically, we're looking at it like turned around and looking the other way.
Correct.
Okay. And then 7C,
There's just another angle of the interior of the living room.
okay. And these sliding glass doors, where do they lead? Do you remember?
I believe to the backyard.
Okay. And then 7D,
That is just another overall view of the interior with those sliding glass doors.
7E,
That's an overall interior of the living room, just different angles.
all right. 7F,
It's the same overall interior of the living room,
7G,
overall interior of the living room.
and that bag of chips that we see there, that was already there when you were there?
Yes.
7H,
Would be considered like a mid-range photograph of the area behind the recliner.
all right. And at this point, had you observed something on the floor that had drawn your attention?
Yes.
Okay. And then 7I, what are we looking at here?
So that's mid-range of the same area, just a little closer.
Okay. And then 7J,
That is an unknown red substance from the tile behind that recliner.
Okay, so in 7I, you're moving closer to this, and in 7J is an actual close-up of what you observed?
Correct.
And the unknown red substance you're referring to, that's right there, correct?
Yes.
7K?
Okay, so this is going to be the corner of the living room on the other side of the fireplace and I would say the movie wall, because the whole thing was full of movies.
Okay. And then 7L?
That's going to be a mid-range photograph of unknown substance from that wall.
All right. And then 7M? What's that?
That is the armrest of the couch that's in the living room.
Okay. And going back to 7B, is that the couch we see over here?
Correct.
Okay. So this is the arm of that couch that's closest to the hallway that goes straight towards the kitchen?
Correct.
7M. And 7N, is that a close-up?
That is a close-up of an unknown substance from that arm
And
rest.
again, the unknown substance, that's what you're referring to, correct?
Yes.
7O, what is this?
So that is the same armrest, however, I've pulled back my camera so that you can see, because I placed the evidence marker there, and so that you can see the couch in relation to the living room.
I'm going to show you what have been marked as State's Exhibits 8A through K, and ask you to take a look through these and see if you recognize these.
Yes.
And what are they?
They are photographs of the interior of the dining room.
All right, do they fairly and accurately depict what the dining room looked like on the morning, I guess, early morning hours that you entered into the residence?
Yes.
Move to have State's Exhibits 8A through K admitted into evidence.
No objection.
There'll be a minute,
You published, Your Honor?
you may.
All right. And this is the dining room you're referring to?
Correct.
All right, now over here, right here, is that the front door?
Yes.
And so when you came in, this is the room that's immediately to your left.
Correct.
And 8B,
That's just an overall of the dining room.
8C,
Just another angle of the dining room.
8D,
Same overall of the dining room.
and again, things that are on the table, they were there just like that when you arrived.
Correct.
8E,
There's another shot of the interior of the dining room.
and then 8F,
That is an overall view of the dining room. However, I've placed evidence markers.
Okay, now, when you came in and began your search and taking these photographs, the purse that we see on the floor, was that where it was located?
Yes.
Okay. 8G,
That is a mid-range photograph of some of the items that I'm depicting with my evidence markers.
8H,
That is going to be a plastic bag that I marked as evidence marker L.
then 8I, what are we looking at here?
That is a receipt removed from that plastic bag.
So you, at this point now, you've taken that receipt out of that bag that was laying next to the purse.
Correct.
And it indicates that it was from the Navy Exchange, and it's a receipt dated 8/20/2015, correct?
Yes.
And 8J
That is the interior view of the purse.
and 8K.
The same, just different pockets, interior view of the purse.
to show you what's marked as states 9B through DD. You can take a look at those.
Okay,
Do you recognize those?
yes.
And what are those photos of?
Those are going to be photographs that I took of the kitchen of the residence, as well as evidence that I found in the kitchen.
All right, and do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what the kitchen looked like on that early morning hours when you were in there processing the scene?
Yes.
All right, Judge moved to have states 9B through DD admitted into evidence.
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
All right, in 9B, what are we viewing here?
So that is the kitchen floor. That is the silver that you see is going to be the bottom of the refrigerator. And I have placed scales as well as evidence markers.
Now, why are these scales and evidence markers there?
So in this case, we had located some red substance believed to possibly be blood. And so when we document, we want to get measurements as well as different markers in a sense so we can tell the difference between them.
Okay, and on 9C, this is more of a close-up.
Correct, that's going to be like a mid-range photograph, just that I'm kind of zooming in a little closer so you can get more of an idea of the size and shape.
And 9D, a little farther back.
So that is going to be the overall view of the same area that I just photographed.
And 9E, what are we seeing here?
So that is, I'm focusing on an unknown substance, kind of red substance from the bottom of the refrigerator.
Okay, and when you say that, are you referring to these things right along in here?
Correct.
Let's circle it there. Those are those kind of dots that you see in that picture?
Yes.
Nine F,
So that's going to be the side view of the same refrigerator with my marker still in place.
and then 9G,
That's a close-up view of the bottom of the refrigerator.
and 9H.
That is going to be the side of the refrigerator with my evidence marker.
Okay, and what was the purpose of this picture?
To show the size and scale of the unknown substance believed to be blood on the side of the refrigerator.
Okay, and those substances are indicated by those are the darker red dots, I guess you could say, on the side of the refrigerator that we're looking at?
Correct.
9I,
That is the same area that I just described, just with different scales,
okay.
vertical scales.
And then 9J, there's a marker on the floor, what is that?
That is going to be an unknown substance from the kitchen floor.
9K,
That is the same marking, but without my scale.
and then 9L.
That is going to be the close-up view of red substance from the kitchen floor that I have marked as number 1.
And 9M,
That is going to be unknown red substance from the kitchen floor in a different area.
all right. And 9N, same thing,
Correct, with scale.
with scale. And 9O,
That is going to be the bottom of the refrigerator without my markings from where I previously mentioned the bottom of the refrigerator.
and 9P,
That is going to be a close-up view of the markings with my scale.
9Q, what is it here?
So this is the overall view of, I would say, the kitchen island. I have marked certain items on the ground as being evidence marker number 9.
Now, as we're looking at this kitchen island, what is directly behind you?
Behind me would have been the living room.
the living room, the room we just saw earlier? in the
I'm sorry, living room, family room, yes.
The
it's-
ones with the TV on and all that?
Correct.
Okay, so the sofa, in other words, would have been right over here.
Behind that counter,
behind that.
yes.
Okay. Now, it looks like on the floor, and I'm gonna show you 9R, are some, it looks like business cards still on the floor. Were they there in that condition when you arrived?
Yes.
And 9S, what are we looking at here?
That is the side of the kitchen. It's the overall view of the kitchen on the other side of the kitchen island.
Okay, and 9T, we better kind of give a reference point. So in 9T, we can see that family room that we've shown pictures of earlier in the background, correct?
Yes.
All right. And what are you looking at or trying to capture in this picture?
So this is an overall view of the kitchen. Yeah.
Okay. Nine U,
That's just another overall view of the kitchen with the kitchen island.
9B,
Same overall view of the kitchen.
9W.
Overall view of the kitchen.
Okay, now what is this room back here?
That is the laundry room that leads out to the garage.
Okay. And then this room right here, what is that room?
That would have been the dining room that we had previously seen.
And 9X,
So overall view of the kitchen.
and you can see in the background, that's the dining room that we've already seen, correct?
Yes.
9Y,
That's still in the kitchen, however, it's the view of the room, the door leading to the laundry room garage.
now were these doors open or like that when you took the pictures, or did you open them to show the whole plane?
I don't touch anything when I enter, so I'm not sure if did someone else prior to me would have done it, say a deputy or whatnot, but I would have, my overall views are always exactly how I see it.
Okay. 9Z,
So that is going to be a mop bucket from the living room, excuse me, kitchen.
okay. And that was in that condition just there when you came in, correct?
Yes.
9AA,
That's just a closer view of the mop with bucket.
9BB,
Closer view of the mop bucket.
9CC,
That is going to be unknown substance from the side of the mop bucket.
and 9DD.
And that is going to be the same stain with my evidence marker number 9.
Show you 10A through L. Ask if you can look at that and see if you can recognize what that is.
Okay?
Do you recognize those?
Yes.
And what are those pictures of?
Those are the photographs that I took of the master bedroom.
They appear to be in the same or potential same condition as when you saw it on that morning.
Yes.
Judge Mood states exhibits 10A through L admitted into evidence.
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
May I publish, Your Honor?
You bet.
10A,
So this is going to be pretty much the breezeway in between the master bathroom leading into the master bedroom.
all right, and 10B,
An overall view of the master bathroom.
10C,
Now I'm starting to walk into the master bedroom, so this is just an overall view of the bedroom.
10D,
That's overall view of the master closet.
10E,
This is overall of the master bedroom.
10F,
Same overall view of the bedroom.
Now, as you're taking these photographs, are you also looking for things that might be potentially evidence in the case?
Well, when I take my overall photographs, my main goal is to just document exactly how the scene is and try to capture everything that I can. If I find evidence, then yes, but I'm not specifically searching for anything at this point.
But if you had seen anything that was an unknown red substance that looked like blood, you would be taking closer up pictures of it in here?
I would, not necessarily at that moment, but yes, I would.
Okay. Did you see anything in the master bedroom that drew your attention that you took photos of?
No.
As far as anything evidential? All right, 10G,
So this is the overall of the bed and the master bedroom.
10H,
Just an overall view of the other angle that you can see the master bathroom.
10I,
So this is a mid-range photograph of the bedside table in the master bedroom.
okay, now you say mid-range, does that mean you've seen something here that you want to get a better, closer shot of?
Yes, I mean, sometimes I take mid-range just to take mid-range. However, in this case, yes, there was something that I was focusing on.
Okay, now the drawer that's depicted here, was that open when you got there?
It was open like that, yes. I don't know if, when I necessarily got there, but yes, it was open.
10L,
So that is the same bedside table drawer, and I have marked it as evidence marker U.
okay. 10M,
That is going to be a gun box from that same drawer.
and 10N.
That is going to be the interior of that same gun box.
And was there a gun inside this gun box?
No.
I'll show you 11A through G and ask if you can take a look at those photos.
Okay.
You recognize them?
Yes.
And what are they photos of?
They are photos of, I would say, a spare bedroom that they have used as an office.
Okay. And do those pictures fairly and accurately depict what they look like on that day?
Yes.
Judge, move to have State's Exhibit 11A through G admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
And where's this room, this bedroom located as far as when you come into the house?
Okay, so like I described before, when you walk into the bedroom and the dining room is on your left, it would have been on the right.
So when you walk into the house?
I'm sorry, into the house, yes.
Okay, and so the dining room will be on your left and this bedroom is on the right?
Yes.
So 11A. Would that be, that's the bedroom where you're talking about that's been used as an office?
Correct.
11B,
That's as I'm walking in the same office.
11C,
This is, I believe the lights were off, so it was kind of hard to see, so I'm just trying to capture everything. And this was open drawer from like a filing cabinet in that same office.
11D,
This is an overall view of that office. Office bedroom.
11E,
Overall view of the office bedroom.
11F.
The same overall view of the office bedroom.
Now I see there's a cat litter box here. Did you see cats when you were there?
I don't see cats, no.
No trouble. Okay. And then 11G,
That's an overall view of the bedroom office.
did you find anything that you observed in there, like any red substance or anything that drew your attention?
No.
Let me show you 12A through E and ask you to take a look at these photographs. Do you recognize those?
Yes.
And what are they photographs of?
I would say that it is the bathroom, spare bathroom, not attached to the master.
Um,
Hallway bathroom, maybe?
Do they fairly, the hallway bathroom, do they fairly accurately depict what it looked like that day?
Yes.
Move that states 12A can be admitted into evidence.
No objection?
Be admitted.
That's going into that bathroom.
Yes.
And 12B,
That's the same bathroom.
12C,
That is, I would consider a linen closet in that bathroom.
12D,
It's the counter of that bathroom.
and then 12E.
So that is the overall view of that bathroom.
Any unknown red substances or anything else that you saw of any evidentiary value inside that bathroom?
No, but I might make a correction that actually may be attached to the master bathroom, but it's kind of a separate, it's kind of like a Jack and Jill, so it's kind of separate, but I was focusing on it as the hallway bathroom, not the master.
If you look at 13A through H, do you recognize those photos?
Yes.
And what are those photos of?
Those are photos of a different bathroom in the
Where's this-
residence.
Where's this bathroom located?
So this is going to be on the, so if you walk into the residence, where we saw the living room, it's gonna be to the left of the living room. That other bathroom was on the right side of the residence.
Did they fairly accurately depict what the bathroom looked like?
Yes.
Did we have 13A through H admitted into evidence?
No objection?
They'll be admitted.
Is that the entranceway to this bathroom that you're referring to?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's, for the record, that's 13A. And 13B,
So that's the overall interior of that hallway bathroom.
and this hallway is between, is it between two bedrooms?
Correct.
13C,
That's gonna be the overall view of that same bathroom.
13D,
That's also overall view of that bathroom.
Now, this bathroom, is it located close to what you later determined to be the young female's bedroom? that
Correct.
was living at that residence?
Yes.
Would this be the bathroom that the person who occupied that bedroom would probably most likely use?
Judge, that calls for speculation, obviously.
I'll rephrase the question. Was this the bathroom closest to that particular bedroom?
Yes.
All right. And 13E,
That's still the overall view of that bathroom.
13F,
That's the overall view of the linen closet associated with that bathroom.
and 13G,
That is the sink area of that bathroom.
and 13H. What do we see here?
That is going to be unknown red substance from the faucet in that bathroom.
Is that the only unknown red substance you found in that bathroom?
Yes.
I'll show you 14A through N, and I'll ask you to take a look at these photos.
Okay.
And what are those photos of?
Those are photographs of overall view of a bedroom near that bathroom.
And do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what that bedroom looked like that morning?
Yes.
Judge Mudat states exhibits 14A through N admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
They will be admitted.
Will you publish, Your Honor?
You may publish them.
14A. What do we see here?
So that is going to be the hallway leading towards the bedroom.
Okay, now this side over here, this area right here, is that the doorway into that bathroom that we were just looking at?
Correct.
And 14B,
That is as I'm walking in and to that bedroom, and it's going to be the southeast bedroom, just to clarify.
14C,
It's going to be the overall view of that same bedroom.
14D,
It's going to be an overall view of that same bedroom.
14E,
Overall view of that same bedroom.
14F,
That's gonna be overall view to include the closet of that same bedroom.
14G,
Same view, just I couldn't capture it all in one, so I took multiple photographs.
14H,
That is gonna be the overall view of that same bedroom.
14I,
Just capturing more of that same bedroom.
14J,
This is going to be the window from that same bedroom.
14K,
This is the same window, however, I pulled back the drapes to show that the window was open.
now the window was open when you got there, correct?
Yes,
Right, and that's the way it looked when you pulled back the drapes, exactly like that, correct?
yes.
14L,
It's just another shot of the bedroom, bedroom window, sorry.
14M,
That is going to be the top of the dresser that's in that bedroom.
and let me correct, so that's 14M. So that's the top of that dresser?
Correct.
And what are we looking at here?
So there's a hairbrush, a little plastic cap to something, and then almost like a medicine capsule wrapper.
And this 14N.
That's a close-up of the same items.
Could you tell what these caplets were for? Were you able to see what they were?
Those were for Unison.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to show you what are marked as 15G through 15R and ask you to take a look and see if you recognize what those are photos of.
Okay?
Do you recognize what those are?
Yes.
And what are they photos of?
They're photographs, just trying to, it's of the southwest bedroom of the residence.
Okay, is that the bedroom directly across the hall from the room we just looked at?
Correct.
Do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what that bedroom looked like at that time?
Yes.
Judge, move to have states exhibits 15G through 15R admitted into evidence.
No objection?
Be admitted,
Published, Your Honor.
you may.
15G, what are we looking at right here?
That is going to be red substance from the door frame, the bottom of the door of that bedroom we just discussed.
Okay. 15H, what is that?
That is deceased male from that same bedroom.
15I,
That's just the deceased male's legs.
okay. And the blanket that's under the deceased male, that was already there, correct?
Yes.
15J,
That's just the overall view of the deceased on the floor of that same bedroom.
now were you able to observe by when you were taking these photos, any particular injuries of note to the deceased?
He was starting to decompose a little bit, so I mean, it's yes, but not specifically. The areas, I knew where there probably would be injuries, but I didn't see the actual injury yet.
All right. And then 15K,
So that was an overall view of the side of his face.
all right. Now, at some point while you're there, does the medical examiner come to examine the body and remove the body?
Yes, so when we're processing the scene, mainly photographs and starting to collect evidence, we have the medical examiner respond out to the scene so that they can examine the body. We don't touch the body or manipulate the body in any way until the medical examiner gets there because it's under their jurisdiction.
Okay. And once the medical examiner is there and starts to examine the body, do they examine the body on scene to look for any obvious injuries?
Correct.
And did they do that in this particular case?
Yes.
And when they're there, do you take pictures of them to document what they're looking for?
Yes, so I normally take overall photographs as I see it, as you can see, and then once the medical examiner gets there, then I take close-ups once they start moving the body.
And was the medical examiner, while you were there, able to locate a wound on this individual?
Yes,
And where was that wound located?
on the back of the head.
And did you take a picture of that wound?
Yes.
All right, and is 15L, is that a picture of that wound?
Yes, that's the back side of the deceased's head.
Okay, and those gloves, those are the medical examiner's gloves that we're looking at?
Yes.
Right. Because you don't ever touch or manipulate the body, correct?
Well, it's not that I don't touch the body, I touch bodies frequently. I will assist the medical examiner as well. However, in this case, because I was tasked with photographing, I don't touch the body because I don't want to, contaminate anything.
Right.
But yes, we will assist touching the body.
15N.
So that is going to be the overall view of that bedroom.
And 15N.
And that's going to be the same overall, or not the same overall view, but the same bedroom.
15O.
That is going to be the same bedroom.
15P.
It's going to be the overall view of that bedroom.
15Q.
That's going to be the overall view of that bedroom once the deceased was removed.
And 15R.
That is going to be red substance from the kind of wicker bed frame in that bedroom.
And we're talking about that right there, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to show you 16A through P. Ask you to take a look at this and see if you recognize them.
Yes.
What are those pictures of?
Those are going to be pictures that I took of the laundry room to include some of the items that we found.
And do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what the laundry room and the items you found look like on that morning?
Yes.
Judge, move that 16A through P admitted into evidence.
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
Okay, 16A. So just an overall of the
That's an
laundry
overall
room?
view of the washer and dryer in that laundry room.
Right, and that's what it looked like when you all came in before you took anything out or removed anything?
Correct.
Right. 16B.
That is going to be the same washer and dryer, however, at this point, we had started searching for stuff.
Okay, and so you just began removing stuff from, well, let me ask you this, was there stuff in the washing machine?
Yes,
And did you begin removing those items?
yes.
And what were you looking for as you did that?
Anything of evidentiary value that we might want to document.
Right. And then 16C, what do we see here?
That is a blue and white baseball cap that we removed from the washer that I have marked as evidence marker number AE.
And did you find something on that cap that was of, you believe, of evidentiary value?
Yes.
Okay, and 16D, what is this showing?
So this is the back side of that cap with a marking that's right under the wording that is believed to be a hole.
16E,
That's a close-up shot of that same hat.
and 16F,
That is going to be now on the interior, so I've flipped over the hat. So this is going to be the interior view of that same hat with the hole on the other side.
okay, and the hole you're referring to, that's the hole, correct?
Yes.
16G,
That's the same hat. I just pulled back the tag so you can see necessarily the hole as it, is on the interior of the tag.
16H,
That was going to be an orange sponge that was removed from the washer that I have marked as AF.
and 16I,
It's the same sponge without my marker.
and 16J,
There's gonna be blue jeans from the washer, that I've marked as AG.
16K,
It's gonna be a close-up view of the blue jeans that I just described.
now why were these blue jeans, why were we taking a close-up view of the blue jeans?
It was hard to see because they were really dark and still wet, so I was just photographing because it looked like there was some substance there.
Okay, so you thought there might be possible substance on those jeans?
Yes.
All right, 16L,
So that is a plaid shirt that we removed from the washer that I marked as AH.
16M,
That is a pile of clothes that were also in the washer, and they were all wet.
16N,
It's a overall view of the front of the washer.
16O,
This is a small red substance that's on the front of the washer.
and 16P.
It's going to be the close-up view of that red substance that I have marked as number 14 from the front of the washer.
I'll show you what's marked as 17A through G and ask you if you can take a quick look through those and see if you recognize what those are.
Okay.
And what are those pictures of?
Those are going to be the overall view of the garage that was from the laundry room into the garage with some evidence that we had found.
All right. Do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what they look like on that morning?
Yes.
Judge, move to have 17A through G admitted into evidence.
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
17A,
So that is me leading into the laundry room, into the garage.
now, you're coming from the kitchen, is that right? Is that accurate based
Yes.
on other pictures we've seen?
Yes.
Okay. 17B,
That is me walking into the garage.
17C,
That's the overall view of the garage.
17D,
That's also the overall view of the garage.
17E,
Just another angle of the garage.
and what we see back here, that's the kitchen, correct?
Yes.
17F,
That is going to be the doorway leading to the garage.
all right, and there's a marker down there, T, what is that marker of?
That is going to be, I marked it as T, and it's going to be a plastic bag that has a bleach bottle in it.
So 17G,
Yes.
and that's the bleach bottle that you were referring to.
Yes.
Show you 18A through D and ask you to take a look at those and see if you recognize what those are.
Okay.
Do you recognize those?
Yes.
And what are those pictures of?
Those are the hallway wall leading from the southwest bedroom.
So is this wall, the wall next to the room with the body that was found?
Yes.
Right. And do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what that wall looked like on that day?
Yes.
Move to have State's Exhibit 18A through D admitted into evidence.
No objection.
They'll be admitted.
And what was the purpose of these pictures?
The purpose of the pictures was because as I was photographing the scene, I noticed a very, very faint kind of pink marking on the wall, sorry. And once I used my flashlight, I realized that they were ridge detail.
Okay, and explain what ridge detail means to the jury.
So ridge detail is what we look for when we're looking for anything that has to do with fingerprints. So everyone has ridge detail on their hands and feet. This is kind of where it's very porous, the sweat comes out, and it can leave an impression.
And what was the color of this ridge detail that you saw?
It was very faint pink.
And 18A, from a distance, you can't really see it, can you?
Yeah, it was actually very hard to see. I had to actually use my flashlight and I just happened to glance when I saw it. So it's not that unless you were actually specifically looking at it, you wouldn't see it.
Okay, and 18B, that's where it's located with the marker.
Correct.
And then 18C, it's more of a close-up. And I guess you can kind of make out, it's hard to see with the glare and
Yeah.
stuff, but I guess that kind of area in there, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, so I saw a very faint, like I said, ridge detail.
And then finally, 18D, again, another picture of that. Can you see it here, or can you tell?
Yeah, it's hard because of the lighting, because what I'm trying to capture is, because it's so light, I'm trying to capture it with my flashlight. However, that's just the beginning of that photograph, yes.
Okay, but this is the area, and these are the photographs you took of where you located what you believe was a print of some sort in some pink substance.
Correct.
And finally, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 5A through F, and ask you if you can take a look at those pictures and tell me if you recognize what those are.
Okay.
Do you recognize those photos?
Yes.
And what are those photos of?
This is going to be the exterior of the residence and also the exterior of the residence next door, the neighbors.
And do these pictures fairly and accurately depict what they looked like on that day you were there?
Yes.
I moved that State's Exhibits 5A through F admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No, sir.
They'll be admitted.
5A,
So that's going to be the overall view of the actual residence.
I noticed there's a marker there, 5, what was that?
Yes, there's, I believe it was a popsicle wrapper.
Okay, so you just marked it because it was something that didn't, I guess, belong in the yard?
Yes, it was fairly clean yard, and then there was just a wrapper sitting there, so I photographed it.
And 5B,
That's just the overall view of the residence now that it was daylight.
and 5C,
So this is going to be the overall view of the neighbor's residence with the driveway.
okay. Now, we know from prior testimony by the witnesses that these 3 markers here were shell casings. But it appears that there's another marker right there, it's the marker number 4. Do you see that?
Yes,
Do you know what that is?
yes.
And what is that?
It is a live round from a .380 caliber bullet.
All right, and did you discover that?
No,
Okay, but you were asked to go out and take pictures of it?
yes,
All right. So 5D, and it gives a more clear indication of where it is. Of where it is in relation to the shell casings.
yes, those, the 1, 2, and 3 were already, the evidence markers were already there. And so I placed number 4 because they had found more evidence, so I was just marking it, yes.
Okay, and 5E,
It's gonna be a close-up of the live round that they had located.
all right, and 5F,
That's the head stamp of the same live round.
and can you tell on the head stamp what type of round it is?
It's kind of
Can't
bright.
really see with that glare.
Yeah, it's kinda
Bring it
bright.
up to you and see if you can tell what it is.
It's gonna be a Hornaday 380 auto.
And when you say a live round, this is basically a bullet that has not been fired.
Correct.
Right. Now, besides taking all these photographs to document what the scene looked like at the time, what else do you do as far as processing the scene? And Judge, may we approach for a moment?
Yes. we're going to go ahead and break for lunch. I'm gonna give you an hour and 15 minutes. It actually breaks out to a little more than 15 minutes because it's 12:30 now, and I'll ask that you come back at 1:45. Wait, 12:15. It's 12:15, so if I give you an hour and 15 minutes, it'll be 1:30. So we're gonna come back at 1:30. Please do not do any research related to the case. Please do not discuss the case amongst yourselves or anyone else, and please avoid any exposure to any media related to the case during the lunch break. Please have a nice lunch. We'll see you back at 1:30. All rise for the jury.